Hi, and welcome to the show. And well, a very, very amazing show. I guess in the next 20 odd minutes, I have with me Bipin Nadkarni, who essentially has been into the world of advertising, and he's brought us some wonderful jingles and advertising movies on our TV screen. But this time on the OTT platform, he brings to us an amazing movie. And the best part is, it's his first debut movie in Hindi, and that's Darman. So introducing, I don't think really I need an introduction to the Bipin, but Bipin, formally anyways, welcome to this show.
Hello, Santosh, namaskar, and it's great, always great being on your show.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. So Bipin, it all started for you with advertising, and you brought some amazing jingles, as we all remember them. But then came two amazing Marathi movies, Uttarayan, of course, and of course then Evrasa Abhar, both award-winning in their own very sense. And what really made you get into a Hindi movie?
Okay, I'll go back some years when I was doing my advertising, and I was an advertising assistant, and I was working in this place called Equinox. It was called Cinematics then. What happened was my bosses, or the people, Shumantra Ghoshal and Ram Advani, the entire mahal, jo hum kehte hain, the entire mahal of that company was more a feature film. Though we were making advertising film, the culture was very feature film, and we used to have screenings every week, and we used to discuss films and all the classics, international classics. So there was this, I think this need to make a feature film was ingrained much earlier in my career. And the best part is I had found this story at that time, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, I don't know. And I had done a very short, I wanted to do a short film in my vacation and all. But somehow, I don't know, it didn't happen. I just kept it on the shelf. And then I got on with my advertising. Then I did I did two Marathi films, as you mentioned. Then suddenly, I don't know, it just came up and came into my life. And I took it. But of course, this has been a long journey. It's almost, I've been living with this film for a long time.
Yeah.
Almost 7 years now. So,
yeah. And I guess what added on to this 7-year long wait was the COVID striking early March, when your movie was almost set for release, I recall.
Yeah.
And this long wait really extended. Now releasing Darban on the OTT platform. And, the best part, I was talking to you earlier in the day, it's now available to worldwide audiences, right? So where do you see this amazing change from a theatrical release, what possibly would have happened in April, and now across the globe, right? How do you see this?
Yeah, it was a blessing, and it for me, like many people, I don't know, for me it was in disguise. It came, and as you said, if I had to release it in the theaters, I really don't know how much of a reach I would have been able to create with the limited resources I had, because I was doing an independent release. I was releasing it myself. So I really don't know how much I would have been able to invest more in the release.
Yeah.
The OTT comes as a complete blessing. I mean, this is Z5 has been, I cannot ask for more. I cannot ask for more. And they have their own viewership and their base, and somehow life becomes much easier when such a big company is taking your film and releasing it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I really don't know if I had to release it in theaters, I wouldn't be talking to you so early after the release.
Yeah.
It's just the second day, and it's reached the entire world.
True. And Darban now into its, I think it released on Friday. Now we're talking on Monday. Already in 4 days, how has been the response? And the second thing I'm very keen to know is, the characters who played. Some of them are etched into us. For example, even as simple as Anu Kapoor's voice, it really kind of it makes you feel so much different, what a movie is all about. So maybe you could share your memories.
Anu Kapoor ka kya hua? Like every day on my way to office in the car, I'm a big fan of that program of his, Suhana Safar.
Yeah.
And I just love the way he narrates these small incidents. Ekdam, it is so humane.
Yeah.
The way he talks. And so he was my first natural choice for it. And I was glad he agreed. I was really happy. He said, "Yeah, okay," and he did it like what in 2 hours. He finished his. I'm really happy. He adds that you know how a grandmom tells a nice story
Yeah,
without any hoo-ha about it. Very
yeah,
plain simple, and it touches you. So I think Anu Kapoor was a very good thought that I had. And yes, this it's a short story. The film is based on a short story. So I wanted to, and I had to enhance it in any way because keeping the soul, I then started adding characters. And one of my friend, she, once I was talking to her some years ago, and she was a coal miner's daughter,
okay,
she herself, and she had experienced this. I mean, her dad had experienced this. She was a kid then. In 1971, she was all of 7. And so she started telling me, so I started asking her more questions, and she told me how their life was, how rich they were. And so, like some of the shots of this guy tying or unknotting his shoes, if you see in the beginning of the
hmm,
film,
yeah,
Harshaya
yeah,
is a totally an added character. You see the servant. So she was telling there were so many servants in the house. One was only to tie the shoelaces. And she said, I don't ever remember repeating my dress to school
wow,
in her entire school life.
yeah,
So that was the kind of money they had. And so I was really intrigued. I thought that would be a great background, to for this entire film to start. So it begins from there.
yeah,
And in the original film, it is just the Thakur and Raicharan. So it is
hmm,
the Thakur's child that he
yeah,
loses. But here I've added that thing and I've made that, his grandson that he takes care of that.
yeah. Yeah. And I also noticed that after your second movie, Evra Sabhar, where there's a focus, so much of focus on children and child, and I know Ritwik himself was in that
Mm.
movie, and now you have this movie where you have four kids of maybe different generations. How was it managing and handling kids for this movie?
Sorry, I didn't get the last bit. It
How
got
how
garbled.
how was how was it managing with four kids and especially two kids? I think literally a year or two, I guess. So how was that?
At the end of the shoot, I had lost count. I could never remember the correct name. हाँ वो यश नहीं यार वीर है अच्छा वीर को बुलाओ वीर यश वीर ये वो there were so many kids but
Yeah,
I don't know that see one of the finest emotions that I get attracted to is compassion,
yeah,
is endearment, which I think naturally comes more towards kids.
yeah,
You feel most for a kid, like so. I don't know. Maybe it's a natural. I cannot pinpoint why
yeah,
kids Though it's a pain shooting with kids. It's very painful because
yeah.
especially small kids, it's like shooting with animals. You just have to roll the camera and wait till you get
Wait
a
for the right scene.
good
Yeah,
shot.
that's what.
There's nothing you can't direct. You can't tell them what to do.
True.
And but I like it. I enjoy. It's
Great.
fun.
Okay. And of course, speaking of the characters, every character had a superb performance, very elegant, and as you rightly put it, the emotions, the redemption. It's a story of a lot of emotions. And of course, I
Yeah.
I mean, one can't forget the character and the acting of Sharif Hashmi. So tell us a little more about that.
Arif Hashmi was he was one film old when I cast him, and which I was not even aware of. I had not seen that film. But my associate producer, Alok Kasbekar, when we were going, we had approached a lot of people, a lot of actors actually before that. Some found it very simple, some didn't understand the script, and I don't know. But at that time, I was looking at having two Raicharans, one young and one old, because the character starts from 25 and it goes on to 60.
Yeah.
But somehow वो कुछ fit नहीं हो रहा था. Then I said, no, we'll go with one face who could. So I wanted a face who could carry it through, have a very innocent look, a very pop this manner. It's like
Yeah.
endearing, I would say.
True.
You feel sad for him.
Yeah.
Sharif fitted the bill. When I saw his photograph, I said, this is the man. And well, he's a wonderful actor. I mean, he had won award for Filmistan at that time.
Yeah.
So acting ka to koi yahi nahi tha. There was no doubt about that. So I just went ahead and took him, and he is ablaze on Twitter now. He
I can
is.
imagine. Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are just loving him, loving that the way his performance and all. It's so much fun, and it was tough, huh?
Yeah.
Because like on one day, sometimes kya hota tha, the budgets I was working on very shoestring budgets.
True.
So in the morning he was playing 35. तो बाद में अच्छा सुन वो light बहुत जा रहा है जल्दी
Change to the.
let's take that shot. He is 50 years old, तो उसका makeup change करके he's 50.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think the transition was very important in the same
To
day
be a
itself.
character and keep that bearing. And for 3 years, we shot the film for 3 years. I don't know how we kept it going.
That's great.
So,
Coming back to your earlier two movies, right? Uttarayan, of course, being the first your debut movie, and then Evrasa Abhar. Have you seen a big change in the way a movie is done? Not just Hindi movie, but per se a movie. Have you seen? I mean, especially technology.
yeah, there's a huge change. I think huge change. See, technology is not necessarily you using some different techniques. It is basically content is what you want to
Yeah.
tell. Technique is how you want to tell it. Now, I will not get into the new techniques. I mean, in the techniques that are being used, but like the general technique is to make it very hard hitting and sensationalize everything.
Yeah.
Even if I keep a cup of tea down, it is like there has to be something to that shot.
Yeah.
People have forgotten what to look at something very in a very simple and straight way. Everything needs to have some social backdrop, some political backdrop, some I don't know what we are intellectualizing everything too much. We don't need to do that. I think I personally like to keep a very simplistic approach to my films and to my life as well. I try to, but yeah, it's a little bit agonizing to see. There's too much of sensationalizing and shouting which is happening. I think we can do with a bit less of that.
Yeah. So is it going to be advertising or movies in due course, or it's a mix of both? Are you going to dabble with both?
No, movies, advertising. I'm moving out. I have moved out. There is an entirely a new generation there.
Okay.
As it is, I feel like a grandfather. But
any projects underway that you can tell us, share with us, or yet to really?
No, nothing now. No, this release was a big thing.
Yeah,
I think I'll now just take a short break and then.
Okay. One last question.
Even advertising too. I just said it in a lighter way. Advertising is I've spent far too many years to say I'm getting away. No, I'm still there. I will be doing ads.
Sure. One last question before we leave.
Yeah.
You have been an original Talmakiwadi homegrown talent, and I'm sure you've seen so many upcoming kids from Talmakiwadi himself now part of this industry. So what are your views? Because we have seen you right from Talmakiwadi stage, right? And I'm sure tons of kids posts you also have been on. So Wadi has been one amazing platform for kids to showcase their talent. What do you feel about the kids moving into a movie career, or essentially a television or a kind of entertainment career?
See, one thing is for sure that there is a vast scope. There is huge avenues. So unlike when I started, it's in 2 decades ago, when there were fewer avenues and film industry joined Kelly. I still remember one of the this thing. It's far more open, and today people are going more in the media industry rather than the MBAs and whatever.
Yeah,
it's a great thing. Sorry, what was the
the question was about Talmakiwadi kids trying to get a hand on movies and some kind of media experience, and I do see a couple of our own generation now into this.
Yeah. One of the
successful
biggest directors blazing the internet is Mr. Nikhil Gonzalez.
Absolutely. And we look
He's a
forward for his
king
next
today.
one coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to call him as Nikhil sir and all.
Yeah.
He's big, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
We have to be ready. See, the thing is, there is a lot of sacrifice which has to go.
Yeah.
It is something beyond my explanation.
Yeah, true.
The struggle is very hard. It doesn't show.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't show. It looks very simple, even with so many avenues. Even with so many avenues.
True.
It is very difficult. It is very difficult, but one should go for it. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
You should have that zidda mandapa.
Correct.
Because it's a very hard, tough line. The fruit is sweet at the end, but you have to be ready for the long struggle.
True. True. So great. We got to be ready for the long stride. On that very positive note, Bipin Nadkarni, thank you so much for joining. And I'm sure we look forward to more movies from you. And of course, Durbaan, I'm sure, is going to create set records. And I'm sure one day, I'm sure, very, very sure that this will go on its way to another award. All the very best to you.
Thank you, Santosh.